Okay, so I want to tell you guys how my freakiest drawing manifested money for me. Yes, it did. And it was very unexpected, and it really taught me how powerful manifesting through art can be. So I'm going to tell you the story of that. But first, let me just tell you the backstory that was going on leading up to this process. So I'm an illustrator and a graphic novelist, and I have been trying to manifest more money for 2 years now, and it has not been working. And over the last year especially, I have manifested a lot of things through my art. For example, one time a chapter of this graphic novel that I wrote and illustrated then actually happened to me in my life. It was crazy, like after the fact. So I definitely did understand that I can manifest things to happen, and I do believe that art is a form of spell work. But when it comes to money, I have just been feeling like there are so many blocks, and I have struggled a lot with it. And around the time that I made this drawing, which was in August of 2025, I kind of got to a point where I was like, okay, what is going on? Because no matter what I was doing, I was not able to level up my income. Like, I had worked at full-time jobs, I had multiple jobs at once, I worked part-time, I worked freelance, and at that point I was self-employed, and I was still stuck in the same income ceiling, like no matter what I did. And I felt like, okay, I'm doing all the things that I need to be doing, and it just felt like nothing was working. So I had to ask myself, like, what is actually going on in my subconscious? Because I know what I want to think about money, I know what I need to do, but clearly I am somehow sabotaging myself. And clearly I am the problem because I am the only common denominator in all of these situations. So after doing some reflection, learning a little bit more about history and financial literacy and all of this stuff, I came to realize that no matter what I think on the surface, consciously, deep down in my subconscious, I have had a belief that I cannot make more money because I'm a woman. How delightful, how amazing. And if you asked me this, I would never have said that because I wasn't even really aware of it. But deep down, I really thought that making money was a man's job and that I couldn't do it because I wasn't capable of it for some reason. How fun. And so that was kind of what I was thinking about and grappling with when I was working on the drafts for this drawing. And I actually got the idea for it like several months prior, like back in February. But initially I had thought like, oh my God, that's too freaky and weird. I can't do that. No one's gonna like it. Everyone's gonna think I'm a freak and whatever. But for most of the last year, the work that I've been making has required me to detox myself from patriarchal programming. And so you can see where I'm going with this. So as I was doing that, and in the spring when I mapped out all the chapters of the graphic novel that I've been working on, and I figured out all the illustrations that I wanted to do like throughout the summer and into the fall, I realized that this idea of the woman shooting out coins, that idea actually fit in perfectly with what the main character is going through at that point in the story, and it would be the perfect illustration for that chapter. So I realized I had to do it. All of these beliefs, these subconscious beliefs I had were coming up I was also going through a dip in my income at the same time that I started working on this drawing. And I was like, okay, what can I do about this? Usually when I go through a dip in my income, I stop finishing art because I feel that I should be spending my time and energy making money. And I hate to say it, but it's kind of logical because my drawings actually take a long time. Like, they're not just like one and done, like I sit down and I just bang them out. Like, they take a lot of iterating, a lot of making reference images, a lot of just like, there's a lot that goes into them and a lot of detail as well. And so I was thinking, like, do I even have time to do this? Like, should I be spending my time making some weird, freaky idea when I should be becoming a functioning member of society and contributing to this patriarchal paradise that we live in now? You know, like, I was also getting thoughts like this, which also comes from shame and thinking like, I don't deserve to be making art when I'm not wealthy enough and all of that type of stuff. But so all of that was literally like coming to the surface on the day that I sat down to finish the ink. And I was late starting the ink. It took me longer to figure out how I wanted the coins to look, because in the initial drafts, the coins are kind of just like going everywhere, but it doesn't look good. And I wanted them to look more like streams, like more controlled streams. So I spent a lot of time drafting these coins and figuring out how I wanted them to look and everything. And so I was pretty late starting the ink. I only had one more day before the deadline that this had to be done for. And all these thoughts about money were coming up, the fear, the anxiety, the shame about not making enough money, the feeling that I wasn't capable of doing it because I'm a woman. All of that stuff was at the surface as I was literally sitting down to start the ink on this drawing. And normally when this happens, like, the shame spiral just like sucks me in. But thankfully this time I was able to catch myself and I noticed it. And I was like, no. Like, we're not going this way. We're not going into the shame spiral. We're going this way. And I just like rerouted myself. And I just decided, as I picked up my pen to start inking those coins, I decided I am getting paid to make this drawing. I am getting paid to make this work. I am getting paid to make this artwork right now. And I kept that up the whole time I was doing the ink. I also played some money subliminals while I was doing it. And I also ugly cried quite a lot. Not about the money, about other things. There was a lot going on, and I can have 14 different emotions at once. It's fine. And basically what I was doing was I was trying to act out what it would feel like and what it would look like if making money as a woman was easy and natural. What would it look like? What would it feel like if I believed the opposite of what I had actually uncovered that I believed? And so I finished the drawing. I posted it up on my Patreon the next day. And then I just forgot about it and I went on with other things. And a couple days after that, a fan messaged me and asked if she could buy it. And she was so serious. She was actually so serious. And I do have a collector who represents me, so I'm not supposed to do private sales on my own, but I spoke with him about it. He gave me the green light, and I agreed on the price with her. She paid. I packed it up, mounted it on some board, packed it up, took it to the post office, shipped it off. And that was that. The money was in my bank account. It was wild. Manifesting is not logical. Like, I think that's where I get tripped up over it. I get too stuck in the logic. Okay, so here's why I think it worked. There's a couple different reasons. One thing is that for me, when I start investigating my beliefs, which is important and necessary to do, but sometimes when I start investigating my subconscious beliefs, especially to do with money, I get so deep into it that I start obsessing over it and I overcomplicate it and I make it seem like it's so hard to change those beliefs. Like the belief about I'm a woman so I can't make money, that feels so hard. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so hard to change a belief. So then there's another layer of belief that I have to change. And then it just gets more and more to the point where I build myself into a mental prison that is quite difficult to get out of. But manifesting through art is such a great way for me, at least, I'm just speaking about my own experience, to avoid doing that and to stop overcomplicating things. Because when I'm making an illustration or writing a story, I am essentially acting, and I'm basically like, I'm thinking and feeling whatever the characters are thinking and feeling, and basically acting out their experience. And so it allows me to, at least temporarily, like step out of my own fucking issues and just like choose a different reality. So that's why I think it worked. Also, it was literally about coins. I think that definitely helped. And I think that I just chose to be irrational. And I just decided that like this irrational idea that I have is going to come true. And so that's why I think, like, for myself, manifesting through my art is so powerful. There's a lot of other things that I've manifested through my art. There's a lot of other money stuff that I am currently working on manifesting through my art as well. So this is an ongoing process. Relatively speaking, this spell that came true, or this manifestation, was technically on the smaller side, but it really did show me what is possible. And the person who bought it, the fan who bought it, her name is Alistair Nelson. She's an amazing writer of occult stories, and I really love reading her writing. And she's the perfect person to own this piece of artwork. Like, I'm so happy that she has it, and I'm so happy that it was so aligned. And I did make some merch involving this piece. There are some cards and some other things, some prints and stuff available in my store on my website. If you want to see more art and bits of stories and everything and more art spell updates, get on the email list, because that's where I send finished artwork and art in progress. So thank you for watching. I will see you next time, and I will definitely keep you guys updated on how the money manifesting through the art is going, because it is an ongoing process. I have a lot more to say about it, and there's been a lot more developments since this incident happened back in August. So I will talk about those in other videos, and I will see you there. Bye.